Well, I knew I was different when I was growing up, and I knew that whatever I was the only one in the whole world. When I turned 16, my mother decided to send me to the Banff School of Fine Arts to study drama and also fall in love. She was right. I got on that train from Winnipeg to Banff, and sitting there, 16 years old, was a woman who was to become a role model for every woman I've ever really loved. She was a cross between Katharine Hepburn, Grace Kelly, and Humphrey Bogart. I just love fried boots. Her name was Sherry. And we went to the Banff School of Fine Arts together, and she was not my roommate, and I had a crush on her. I knew her for 6 weeks. We went everywhere together. We did everything together. I tried, you tried to show that you don't have a crush when you're a kid, but I did. I just couldn't wait for her to come over, and I just didn't want to bug her too much. You're kind of shy. One day she ran over to my room and she said, "Do you know that the girl..." Now forgive me for using the word girl. I mean, at that time we called each other girls. I don't use that word anymore. A friend of mine had a baby, and I sent her a telegram. "Congratulations on your bouncing baby woman." But she said, "Do you know that the girl in my room tried to kiss me?" And I said, "You're kidding." And I went and I hit the girl in Sherry's room. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I've wanted to kiss her for 6 weeks." So I ran down to the little village and I picked up a book. It was a little booklet called The Ladder. And in it was written, if you are a woman and you feel you love another woman, then what you are is a lesbian. Everybody could tell you you're wrong, but if it feels right to you, it is right. Signed, Del Martin, P.S., moved to a big city. I finally knew what I was. I was a lesbian. So I ran back to the Banff School of Fine Arts, determined to tell everybody. Not that I was brave, I was stupid. I mean, I decided, once I know what I am, I'll just share it. It's such wonderful information. Now, this is 20 years ago. 20 years ago, 1959. I ran to the Banff School of Fine Arts, down the hall screaming, "Hooray! I'm a lesbian! I am a lesbian!" And my teacher, who was just like Maggie Smith in the prime of Jean Brodie, she ran out and she said, there, dear. We're all thespians. That's why we're here." I went back to Winnipeg, and of course I immediately told my mother. It didn't faze her at all. No, it didn't. As a matter of fact, she gave me a big check on my next birthday. Of course, it was made out to whom it may concern. Little pain there, right? Actually, my family was very supportive of me, including my brothers, because I was out of the closet from the time I was 16 years old. Closets stand for prison, not for privacy, so I'm very lucky that I didn't have to be stifled by a closet. All right, so there I am back in Winnipeg, and I decided there's got to be somebody else. I couldn't be the only one. Well, there was this friend of mine called Terry, a man. He was very effeminate at the time. Now it's called yin and yang, and all the straight guys can wear jewelry. But then it was called a flaming queen. I actually don't like to call you straight. If you're straight, we're crooked, but if we're gay, you're morose. Anyway, I became friends with Terry, who was very effeminate, and I said to him, "Terry, why are you gay? Was your mother too aggressive? Was your father passive?" And he said, "No, darling, I was just born lucky." Pretty good for 20 years ago. I said, "Well, Terry," I'm only a kid, I'm 17 by this time, and I said, "Terry, how do you tell if a man is gay?" And he said, "Well, darling, any man that can sing all 4 sides of Judy Garland's Carnegie Hall album is gay. It doesn't matter who he's sleeping with." Bang, bang, bang with the trolley. One day, Terry and I were walking down the street, and he was very, very proud. He was very, very proud, and a man came over to him, I'll never forget this, and he said, "I know what you are. You're one of them homosexuals. Well, I think they should take all of your homosexuals and put them on an island someplace." And Terry said, "They did, darling, and they call it Manhattan." Of course, I was still friends with Sherry. And one day, when I was 18 years old, she called me up. And she said, "I have something to tell you." And by this time, she knew I was a lesbian. And that I said I had had a crush on her, and she handled it very well. And she said, "Robin, I have something to tell you. I'm getting married." I thought about killing myself. But then I realized if there's such a thing as reincarnation, then suicide is only a temporary solution. And I thought, that's it. That's going to be the story of my life. Always a bridesmaid, never a groom. I remember Del Martin saying, "Move to a big city." So I decided to move to New York, where I could meet other women who were cultured and refined and interested in the arts and poetic, you know. And I went to my first gay bar. It was a gay bar then. We didn't call them lesbian bar. It was a gay bar, all women's bar. And all of a sudden I hear this voice from this woman. "Hey, baby Butch!" "Hey, come here." "Excuse me, but are you talking to me?" "Yeah, come here. Are you a butch or are you a femme?" I said, "Well, what's the difference?" And she said, "Well, a femme does the dishes, takes care of the house, takes care of the butch, and the butch makes all the decisions." And I said, "I'm a butch!" At that time, I didn't know it meant rolls in bed, because the only rolls I've ever believed in are hot buttered or plain, you know? And if you went both ways, which means if you made love or if you were made love to, then you called yourself Kai Kai. So this is just a little of our history that it's true. We actually had to take these roles, and you had to take a role. It was just no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Anybody into roles now? Liars. Okay. I went to my first drag ball. A drag ball is where, at that time, where men got dressed up like women. Why on earth they wanted to wear those girdles and bras, I'll never know. I mean, it's one thing for us to imitate men. We were imitating people that had position and privilege, right? But they were getting into these girdles and heels and things. But anyway, that's their right. Anyway, I went to my first drag ball in 1960. And it was on the first floor of the Manhattan Hotel. 500 guys dressed as women, crinolines, everything. Beautiful. On the second floor was the policeman's convention. They raided that drag ball, and all of these guys were jumping out the window going, "Oh, not me, boom, boom, boom." Right? Meanwhile, they're taking them and throwing them into police wagons. I go up to one guy, because I'm from Canada, and I don't know about the police down here or anywhere at that point. And I said, "Excuse me, officer, but why are you arresting these gentlemen?" And he said, "You don't fool me, you're one of them." And he threw me into handcuffs, which is how I got into bondage. And anyway, oh, I'm only teasing. Now, how many of you believe that? See me after the show. This is a true story. He threw me into handcuffs, throws me into the paddy wagon, and they arrest me. They take me to jail, and they arrest me for female impersonation. There we are, lined up against the wall. 44 men and 1 woman, busted for impersonation. And they keep screaming things like, the guys are saying, "She's a girl, she's a girl," you know? And the cops are saying, "Well, that's what you all say, right?" Now, they would... Truth is stranger than fiction. They wouldn't send me in to be checked by a woman, a policewoman, in case I were a man, or by a policeman in case I were a woman, because I could sue. So they allowed me one telephone call. Who do you think I called? Did I call my mother? What, you want me to kill her? Huh? Can you see me, Mom? I'm busted for female impersonation. No, I did not call my mother. Did I call a lawyer? No. I called the New York Post. And the next day, the headlines read, 44 men and 1 woman arrested for female impersonation. So, of course, I was trying to break into show business, and I decided, well, if I could fool New York's police, maybe I could fool the public. So I went down to a club called the 82 Club. Does anybody remember that club in New York? Somebody? Fine. I went down to the 82 Club, and I auditioned for a guy, and I sang a song, and he said, oh, this is terrific, go and pick up a suit. I said, no, you don't understand something. I don't want to be a male impersonator, I want to be a female impersonator. And he thought about it, and he said, okay. And so I did Judy Garland. For 1 year, I became Stacey Morgan, one of the most famous female impersonators in the United States. And this is stuff I've never told, folks. Well, why shouldn't I have been a female impersonator? Phyllis Schlafly is.